again to another wonderful episode of My Girls and I. We are so happy to have you join us one more time, and we want to say we appreciate you. You've been there from the beginning, you're there up till now. Wow. Thank you so much. And we like your comments, you've been sharing. Please continue to share, subscribe, comment, like. Thank you so much. So today we're going to be talking about postpartum healing and experiences. Okay, so my first question goes to Shadi.
Yes.
What's been the biggest surprise about postpartum life for you?
Simple answer to that question. I think my biggest surprise is how that the experience isn't the same for every child, or for after every birth. The same way childbirth is not the same way the children you're giving birth to is not the same. The dynamic of each postpartum experience varies one from another. In my case, I think because I had very similar births, I thought it would just flow like that. But I found that the version of me postpartum, my first child, is different from the version of me postpartum, the second, and is different from me postpartum, the third. That's a simple answer to your simple question. Thank you very much.
So, Simi, tell us, what was your biggest surprise about postpartum life?
You know how I'd hinted that my first went into NICU and it was there for 11 days. So the biggest thing, nobody prepares you that you can't even prepare your mind that I'm going to the hospital and I'm going to be discharged without my baby. So first off, it was tough mentally, it was tough physically, because your body is here, trying to make milk for the baby, but the baby is not here. So you are doing extra to pump, to establish supply, but the fact that you are not here with your baby and you are entrusting your baby to strange, in quotes, I don't know them, but they're strangers, and that for me was an unexpected experience. And there was a lot of crying, a lot of praying, a lot of God why. So it's something you can never be prepared for. And I would say that maybe there was even a post-traumatic whatever, because it became prayer points. Everything that didn't go well in the first issue was prayer points. The second one, God, the babies must cry. I don't know, because the first they didn't cry. The babies must cry. The second is because it was so stressful that even after he got delivered, so in the NICU there is like graded system. They are in grades. So the baby, if he's in grade 1, would have to go to grade 2, grade 3, keep moving like that.
So maybe the final grade before they graduate,
they have to be able to breathe on their own, demand for food, wake up. You know how babies demand and cry. So because there was a feeding tube inside of him, he wasn't waking up for food, so they have to be able to do some certain things independently before they can go, and that is tough, because then you now have to also, you're not home sitting and recuperating. You have to go visit your baby like every day, to bond, to do skin to skin contact, because that helps healing a lot. So you want to do skin to skin, you want to breastfeed when you can, you want to keep pumping. So it's almost like I'm going to work. I know the time they open the NICU, my husband is there, drops me, we sit down, we are there with our baby rocking there. As at that time there wasn't bed, so we are sitting down, your baby's here, and there's so I would say that without extending, that wasn't an experience I wish on anyone. But be prepared for it, but you can never be prepared for it. You can never be fully prepared for it.
Thank you for sharing that. So Kelechi, what's the most challenging part of postpartum adjustment for you?
That will be moving to sleeping all night to having sleepless nights. I was not prepared for that. In fact, I was shocked the first night. I was shocked, honestly. Like, I think our mothers should like educate their daughters on their experiences, because there are a couple of things that I had to learn firsthand, and sleepless nights was part of it. I didn't know that you had to actually stay up at night because the babies are still trying to regulate their sleep patterns. They don't know how to, and you need to be up to feed them, to help them. So
Change diapers.
yes, the very first night, because I the shock of my face. I was honestly shocked, and then I'm like,
Wow.
I thought
Why are
that
you crying?
You mean I'm not going to sleep?
the whole mentality I had of babies. Oh, they are, this is so
You
peaceful.
say you sleep like a baby.
Yes, that's peaceful. I was expecting the baby to sleep off, and I just wake up. We all wake up, and then we go about our day. And so that night, because when we went back home, I went to my parents' house because we did go at my parents' place. So once the baby starts crying in the night, my parents are up and they came to my room.
They have work experience.
Yes, they came to my room. They woke up before I woke up. Me, I was still sleeping. I was still sleeping, so they were saying, Kelechi, wake up, it's time to feed the baby. I said, I don't understand. I don't understand.
Was the baby crying then, or?
Yes, the baby was crying. I said, okay, the baby needs food, okay. And then after giving the baby food, I said, okay, so can I go back? So if you have, you can go back to sleep. We can nurse the baby back to sleep. But that was just giving me the idea of, okay, if they are not around, I will have to be the one to stay up to tend to the baby.
Mm-hmm.
And then I remember asking my mom that, are we serious right now? Is this the new life? Is this my life right now? She said yes. I had to go on. I said I think I've not been reading the articles on childbirth and everything very much, so I had to go back to read, and I was like, okay, this is not new. Okay, then I had to start re-educating myself. Well, I won't say re-educating, but I had to start educating myself. That was hard for me.
Wow.
That was hard for me.
Can I ask that? Were you not surprised that as the baby keep growing, when they get to some months that they are more alert, is now that time that they are supposed to be sleeping, they want to play with you?
Yeah.
Like, my guy, you were supposed to be sleeping.
Like sleep.
Okay, thank you so much for that. So Timmy, do you want to share any challenges
Surprises.
that you had postpartum? The most challenging part for you?
I don't know. Most challenging, I'll say when I had my first in US. Yeah, the family I stayed with, they were helpful, but there's nothing like having your immediate family, my husband especially with me. So after that, so many things I did not know. Just things I've heard, things I've watched in movies and all of that. So for example, one of it was, I've had a baby, I got back home, I said, I don't know. I took them, how they're in Yoruba land, and how they'll be using hot water to
mold the baby.
to not even
Not
your
your
own
stomach.
tummy, your own tummy. I was sure I don't know what I'm doing. I was sure I'm just going around because my mom is late, so I don't know so I was just doing everything. I've heard so I was just doing different things. After that, there's another one. You sitting on hot water.
Sit bath.
Yeah, so I was just doing different things, but not really having direction on how to go about them. My sister-in-law still always tease me that when I go back to Nigeria and I got home, my mother-in-law was already waiting for me, and I just say, "Egbo moyo, that mistake your child oh." I just dropped the baby with them and like that, but the first feel, because I was even supposed to spend more time in US, but I told my husband that I want to start coming on, change the flight, so he had to book 2 weeks earlier for me to come home early. So yeah, it was challenging not having your immediate family. Though yeah, I had those support of those elderly lovely couple, but I still needed like yes.
All right. So,
But could I also add that the reality of home away from home is hard. Someone like me too, Dean, all the babies we bathed by ourselves. So, but thank God the babies were toddlers. So you are not worried that if I hold the neck, hope it will not snap into because they were holding their head up. Quite fast.
I had to bath all of them.
Yes, you had to bathe
for,
and it can be extremely hard. I know there was a time I got to my breaking point because this one will carry the baby. Hey, baby, stop crying. They'll give it to them. Next, they'll come and give it to you. Me, I say, so who that one will give this baby to now? It's defining. So it's just part of the experiences.
okay, thank you so much, guys, for sharing. So, what's one thing you wish you'd known about postpartum emotional changes?
I wish I had known that everything is going to be all right. Like I think I'd mentioned before that while my first baby was in NICU, I did get an advice from somebody that had gone through that stage before to say, that baby is in, just imagine a 5-star hotel, that's where your baby is. You should try to get your sleep. My goodness, how I was feeling guilty. You know this mommy guilt of how can I be sleeping in my bed and my baby is not in the crib that I bought for him. No, I will not sleep, so I will cry, I will wake my baby, I will do everything. It was not quite 2 months after this guy got home. I'm like, I should have taken that advice to sleep when the baby was sleeping. And for me and my husband, maybe the most difficult argument or whatever we've had is usually almost immediately after postpartum, because my hormones are raging. He's also under pressure of he's taking care of me, taking care of the baby, taking care of the other children. That is also real because the emotional stick are short that time. Your body has gone through a lot. They don't talk about men's own, but their own body and their brain and their thinking has gone through a lot as well. Because we are like, I want my baby. They have the more emotional pressure of my wife. Nothing must happen to my wife. Nothing must happen to my baby. So, and it's. I would say that it wasn't fun experience because after the euphoria of, oh, you're so cute, I make that. It comes to, guy, I am tired, I need to sleep. And I've heard experiences from people that, you're so exhausted that sometimes the baby can fall off your hand when that's part of the exhaustion that can happen. And I've heard from people that it happens to that, like if you want to just safeguard it, go in between your bed when you're trying to rock the baby, just in case you fall asleep unexpectedly. And don't feel guilty if that happens because it might have.
Thank you so much. So, Kelechi, how did your partner adjust to parenthood, life after the baby? Okay.
Well, it wasn't easy at first because it's a new experience for the both of us and a new experience for him as well. Like I mentioned, I was at my parents' place, and after the phase of Obugo was over, I had to go back home, and we are back to factory setting with an additional human. So he had no choice but to adjust to that kind of life because first, like Simi said, they are pressured in making sure that their wife is okay, both physically and emotionally,
financially, physically.
So then there is like you are trying to make sure the home front is okay. At the same time, you have pressure from work as well too. So the balance between the two was not easy. But yeah, with God on our side, we found a way around it to it had to adjust to the new life. Yeah.
Thanks. Shadi, how did you prioritize your physical healing after childbirth?
So I guess with the all of them actually, what I used to actively advocate for, like I in fact after my first, I used to tell people around me, like the husbands, I just remember they said, like, your wife like needs help right now, and it was just from first hand. I remember I can never forget one day with my first that I just told my husband, just carry her. Like it's not that I just don't want to have to deal with this right now. That was just it. Like
That's a postpartum emotion.
yes. You know,
Yeah.
just carry her, and you just, of course, so you afterwards I remember telling the young people around us, or just appear that way, having babies afterwards, like, your wife cannot, she's not 100% right now, like, just be on standby. So I definitely recommend advocating for yourself, because while people want to help you, they can't necessarily know exactly. In fact, sometimes you don't know what you need, but it helps to be able to, as much as possible, as much as is realistic. It's not everybody that can maybe like leave the house. It's not everybody that can, like, there are some things that some people don't have the luxury of doing. If there's nobody else to handle the reigning children, what do you want to do? Like, wherever it's apparent to, you're not the maniac now. So you still have to be there, but as much as is possible and is reasonable, advocate for yourself. Sometimes if you don't know what is going on, then step back to figure it out. If you do know what you need, then voice it out. You see the guy that you're saying that is trying to be there. He doesn't know that really what you really need now is ice cream. Just as a wonderful example.
Or puff.
Yeah. You may be thinking it's something else. So it helps to be able to speak up for yourself what you need, and then just step back when it's possible.
Okay.
Can I add that sometimes, like you said, step back also really, really helps in taking some few hours of the day to yourself if you can.
Yes.
So for example, if your husband has gone to work and come back and he has eaten or whatever, you can hand over the baby to go into the bath to shower and just calm down, and before the baby gets tossed back to you. It's really
About shower, can I ask, did anybody struggle with, like, you being in the shower and you be imagining that the baby is crying?
Oh yes.
You keep hearing the sound like the baby is crying.
In fact, two things about shower postpartum. Number one, that. Number two, apparently there's a Yoruba proverb about, like,
like you always, if you can almost figure out your baby's crying, but sometimes it's a trick. It's your mind that does the trick. And that's why most of the time I don't want to go into the shower to take my bath, because you can't stay there for a long time without imagining that your baby's crying and you want to jump out and take your baby.
And there's this, I don't think it's a proverb itself, but I've heard my mom say something about, like, someone who has just had a child, that they don't bath thoroughly.
Yeah.
So it was a postpartum that I realized that, okay, bathing with sponge is a luxury.
Yeah.
And I didn't even realize that until a while back. After a while, I was like, wait, though, this sponge, I have sponge in this house. And I'm like, so
Most
some
times
days
they're rushing to
so some days you are actually, I'll only be pouring water on my body. Some days I have the luxury of actually using soap. Some days the soap is only for essential places. It was in how much time do you have, who is available to watch the child for that time period. And for someone like me, I shower is a mental thing, so I want to clear the bathroom first, and you don't have that opportunity, right? So that's why I'm saying that is, when my mom used to say that thing about, if you're taking a shower is a luxury for someone who has that, I used to be upset about it. But now that Kelechi is saying there was something she was not prepared for, I'm realizing that
nobody prepares us for that.
Yeah, it might. So now I see why they have those sayings. Now I see, because I
From
felt like you're not putting me under undue pressure by telling me I'm working, so that means so even if I don't hear baby crying, I'm a failure
Yeah.
as a mother. Is that what you're saying? But I guess what they're trying to just prepare you. Like, those sayings are to prepare you.
Practical experience for me would be that part of the small care I did that I liked was I liked when my husband stepped up and actually showered for me. Because like Shadi said, you can't touch some areas because the belly is still swollen somehow, you can't bend. So when my husband, steps in the shower and scrubs me, you actually feel clean, and it feels like somebody is pampering you.
Even
so
the body is still healing. So
Healing.
there's a limit to how much
you can bend, yes, how much you can move. Sometimes the leg is still swollen. So I made sure my husband was willing, he did that, and I would come out of his shower, even to drying my body and putting the cream and everything. It's just like, relax, I got this. And I felt, it's receiving love. It might not look big, but it was big for me because I felt clean, and I didn't even have to do it myself. Somebody was doing it for me. So those are part of the things that you really can enjoy with your spouse.
Okay, Tammy, tell us how did you prioritize your physical healing after childbirth?
After childbirth, I know the only one that I know that I prioritized my healing was for my second, because at that point I had nanny. So before I had the baby done interview, I had the nanny. So at that point, after maybe 1 month or so, I registered at the gym.
Okay.
I started going to the gym, and also I started a class, makeup and gele tying. So I'll just go there, learn how to tie gele, go to the gym, felt good, came back home. So yeah, I think for my first, I was not at home. So and when I got back home, it was almost time to go back to work. It was Nigeria. I took my leave earlier than I even had to take 1 month without pay to extend my leave, and for
I can't relate.
and for my last it was for my last I don't think we really had time. It was just myself and my husband handling 3 children at that time. So. It was a lot, so I don't think there was any time. Maybe take care of myself is to find time to sleep. Sleep helps me.
Yes.
If you can get sleep without baby crying.
So my husband helps with that, because sometimes I love sleep a lot.
Sometimes I don't sleep a lot.
So sometimes I could just say, handle the baby, and I will sleep well.
Yeah.
Even at night I sleep well.
One thing for me was physiotherapy. So before childbirth, I'd started seeing the physiotherapist, and then after the delivery, I still went back, and that helped with healing. There were different exercises to do. So I had that, and I think that taking breaks from time to time is important, because after childbirth, as Kelechi said, that just forget about your sleep. Like, if you're able to get 2 hours straight, that is a luxury. It's a blessing. And at some point I was like, oh my goodness, is it after 10 years that I will get a good night's rest? Because it just felt like it was unending. But it's for a period. It gets better. It gets better with time. So, but during the day, there's this thing of sleep when the baby's sleeping. So it's hard when they say sleep when the baby's sleeping, but seriously, if you can take that advice, please take it. Because I know that most times when the baby is sleeping is when you want to do other things, you want to clean, cook, and do all of that. But if you're able to take that sleep, then do it. Because sometimes the babies, they sleep all through the day and then stay awake all through the night when you are trying to wind down. So that is for my experience. Now I have for Simi.
Hi.
Yeah. Did you experience any postpartum anxiety or depression? And if you did, how did you cope?
Yeah, I think I touched on it. And I would say that because of the experience of my baby not coming home with me and nobody preparing you for that, you know, I even felt I still carried the mentality of people saw this girl pregnant now because my baby is in NICU. I have to go to him every day, my choice, because you know they had told me the benefits of skin to skin, and I was willing to do anything and everything for my baby to be home. So I recall that maybe I'd said it at some point that I couldn't sleep. My husband was beside me. Maybe it was the second day or that I got discharged and my baby was still there. And I'm like, baby, you're sleeping. In Jesus' name. I just picked my phone. I called Pastor Mrs. In fact, she was not around. That was how bad, because I didn't think that God was hearing my prayer or he was listening, because how can my God be there and this is happening to me? I'm glad that it happened to me, because now I can help people through the process. So you can imagine they poked everywhere and there was the needle they couldn't find the vein, so they had to shave a part of his head. And I'm like, how will I watch them put needle into his head? It was that depressing, and I was like, God please. And so like I said, I think I hinted earlier, that's transferred. In fact, I think at some point I felt like a failure. That the only one task that I have to go give birth and come back, I couldn't come back with my baby. So that's part of the experiences that I was berating myself to say, have I eaten a lot? Well, maybe I should not have done this, maybe I should not have done that. That's very real. And that also transferred to my other pregnancies, because I'm like, good, no other NICU experience. Even though the baby was good, everything was good, because it became harder because when we were discharged after 11 days, we were also discharged with oxygen. So imagine you want to go for immunization, you're dragging the tank of oxygen. It was that bad. So that even also limited how we went out, because I had to go with oxygen. You can also imagine the anxiety that happens that we put him in his crib, and those babies then, that my boy, he found a way to push. So the I don't know, the oxygen thing is supposed to go in. You will just wake up and see that he has pushed it up on his own. I'm like, oh my goodness, he's not breathing anymore. You can imagine that anxiety. Yes, and that transferred to the second and the third. I'm like, God please. That was my prayer point. No NICU. So yes, that led to, I'm glad he didn't go to depression, and I'm glad that at the end of 2 months he had to do sleep study to see if he's able to breathe on his own, if the lungs are, and everything checked out and got past it. So I just felt like it was an experience we had to go through so we can strengthen other people to also go through it.
Women are just superheroes.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing. And just to encourage you out there, if you're going through any issues with postpartum, just trust God, and also seek help. Don't stay silent. There are so many reactions that we have, even to our spouses and people around us, that we don't know that it's actually the effect of the hormones that are raging in the body. So let's speak up, let's seek help. There are therapists out there that are willing to help. Talk to your doctor. And if you have any experience, please put in the comments. Let's share so that others too can learn and grow.
Canada, for us, I don't know if it's our province specifically, but I know they do this check-in. The nurses will do a check-in.
Yeah.
Even when you take your child for immunization, they will check on you too. They have a questionnaire.
Yes,
they came to my house.
Yeah, so they will have a questionnaire. How are you feeling? They will ask certain questions regarding, your emotions for yourself and how you are perceiving the baby. They will ask those questions, and those are resources. I think there is one question that I answered to suggest that, I can't remember which of them, but the lady was like, oh, do you want me to follow up on this with you? And I was like, yeah, sure. And so she called, I think maybe 1 or 2 times afterwards to say, oh, so how are you feeling about this now? And I was like, yeah, I'm good, So that there's that resource with with
Like,
in
take
environment.
advantage of it. Don't feel shy to not receive the help.
You're not alone, yeah.
Yeah, I have a question. So I've heard people say that when they had their baby at some point they didn't want to carry the baby or touch the baby, or they didn't like have that affection towards the baby. Did you ever experience
Exhaustion is it's mostly exhaustion that causes that. You're overwhelmed.
Because this baby is demanding everything.
Your life.
Sustain
And you're
your
like,
life.
what is it?
Yeah.
Your life.
Like, so sometimes it feels unfair that why do I have to give you so much? The baby's only job is to sleep and eat and
poop.
Do you understand? Like, and here you are like having to be at the beck and call all the time. So I think that frustration just comes with what's if, like,
What else do you want?
what else do you want? Like, you know, and especially because the fact that I fed you 2 hours ago does not mean you are not asking for it now, right? There's a constant demand. So it can feel overwhelming, and I think that's what's made. I don't know exactly 100%, but I suspect that
the switch from going from that the baby not being there, that's the pre baby phase. Yeah, so you have the way your life has been going, your routine, and then there's just someone that just came and destabilizes your.
the boss is here.
The baby,
If they are colic.
they just come and
You're crying all the time. You said sorry. You've backed them. You are sleepy yourself. Yeah,
That happens. I think for me, it didn't happen that I didn't want to touch the baby, but like you said, frustrations happen. That you have literally not gotten any hour of sleep, and it's that sweet spot where sleep is coming. So you grudgingly wake up, you put diaper on, you put the baby to breast. Oh yeah, sleep now. No. Oh yeah, like you would have to wake your husband up and say, babe, I can't do this anymore. Just take. And it is
that means that person has the luxury of their spouse.
That's
Some people, their spouses walk away from them. I think one of the things I've done one time. The baby wasn't crying. The baby just refused to sleep, and I desperately needed to sleep. So I just threw the baby on my back to secure the baby. Wrapped the baby. I knelt down, put my head on the chair. At least I know you are safe. I'm not likely to fall off from kneeling down, but at least I can get some sleep while you.
Sometimes if your spouse is not around, what they've told us to do, and maybe we've done it one time, is if the baby practically refused everything, you've changed the diaper, it's not the diaper, it's not hunger, it's not maybe the baby is cold or too hot. Make sure that the crib is safe. Put the baby there, step out just step out of the room to calm down, so you don't hear.
They said even to deal with the noise that I heard this recently, you can play music.
Yeah,
just
white
down,
sound,
to down the sound from entering it can be rough on you yourself. So just to dampen the sound, play loud music and just keep a distance from that child.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean you don't love the
child. You're doing it out of love because you don't want to get to the point, to the breaking point.
Please, we want to ask that you put in the comment how you're coping postpartum with the life after the baby is here. Please put in the comments and share so that we can all learn from your experience.
If you have a specific question you want us to elaborate on,
please.
Okay, we're happy to share.
Perfect. So I have one last question. So how did you cope? How did your relationships change after you had the baby? So when I mean relationship with your spouse, relationship with friends, relationship generally,
relationship with God.
Yes. So I'll just take that as last note from each of
children.
And with your other children.
Yeah.
So how did your relationship change? I'm going to start from Tammy. Tell us. Everybody's going to share.
How did my relationship change? I'll go with my last because a lot of caring and all of that, and I already have to maybe focus a little bit more attention on the last child at that point, and because you don't have a lot of helps available. Thank God for our family friend that helped a lot during the childbirth, taking care of the kids and all of that. But when we came back home to when we started living by ourselves, there was a lot of things, taking care of 3 kids all together with your spouse, and what's it called? Taking care of 3 kids together with your spouse. At that point, you have to find, okay, what do you need to do now to make everything work out? And what helped is routine. Routine helped my family a lot. That okay, because what I notice is you thrive more when you have routine in place than if everything does go. Everything, the house will be chaotic. Yeah. So we wake up, we brush our teeth, we have our bath, we have breakfast. We can have every other thing, playtime, because they were not going to daycare at that time, and I was home with them. So then we do some learnings and all that. The babies were in his crib playing or sleeping. He was not playing at that time. He was sleeping. He was sleeping. So what I would say is structure helps a lot to manage, because if there was no structure, having things in place, cooking in bulk helped a lot to manage all every other things that was shopping in bulk, because here we were not so much help. I could not drive at that time, so you have to plan ahead to make time for everything and still be in your good, because we had the appointment we had to keep up with also. So yeah, I'll say am I answering your question?
Yeah. That's one. So one key thing to take away from you is the routine. Children strive on structure, and it makes life more bearable for everyone when there's that structure. For me, I would say one thing that changed with having multiple children was visits to friends. So before, when we first came here, it was so much easier. We had only one child, we could visit. I remember that we visited a lot of friends in their houses. We had time to go. But right now, I don't have time to even visit myself. It's so difficult, like especially with the kids having different activities, there's school, by the time you have arranged all of it, there's no time. And like every year we have the resolution, we need to visit more, it's been long. Like there are friends that you maybe they got new houses or even had their babies, and you want to pay attention. Yes, you want to pay them visits, but there's no time. It's so difficult. Well, we'll find a way around it, hopefully. Yeah, so Kelechi, tell us how did
what I would say is, from my own experience, I discovered that I was so engrossed with taking care of my second baby that I forgot I had the first child. And when I realized that was when one day I decided to enter a room and it was a mess. Because I know when it was just me and her and the dad, I was so like always on top of my motherly duties. So and that day that I got into a room and it was a mess, I was like, I think I have abandoned this girl so much that it's already affecting. That is for my daughter. So, and that's one thing I picked from Tammy as well, because she spoke about routine, and that was when I started drawing out
to-do list
things that she has to do on a day, and timely things, and she has to come and report back to me, because I had my baby during the summer period, so she was at home. and we had help. We had my parents-in-law around, so well, I basically just left her in the care of my parents-in-law. So they were doing the best that they can, and I also thought that, oh, that's okay. I think, well, basically I'm just trying to say that it affected my relationship with her, so I had to adjust. And then for my husband, well, it's a new, I would say for the very first, it was very new, because then you'd have to start looking for ways to become more intimate with your spouse, because that time now there is now someone who is beckoning you to
shared attention.
Yes, so now the things you will do spontaneously, and then they just come and they transform your life. And then you now have to devise on ways to make things better and adjust to that new life that you have. So just basically devising new means to better your life, and also making sure that you have a structure in place.
Yeah. Simi, how did your relationship change?
I would say that having children has definitely, for me, on my part, because I think my husband thinks differently, my admiration for my husband increased, because I saw how he stepped up, how maybe I even got over pampered in some things. So like I look at it and like, you're a terrific dad. You're so I would say that my admiration increased. But I've heard him say sometimes that sometimes you can be too focused on the children that I'm also losing focus on him. My focus to him. So I guess that I would say that also having children impacted our relationship. And at some point, even this is not immediately after we gave birth, this is now them growing, and I even had to notice that it looks like sometimes for a period of time it's just mommy and daddy duties. There's no husband and wife, no going out, no all of that, until we had structure, like we said, and know that there's time for this and be intentional about it. I would also say that in the long run that sometimes having kids and all of those things amplifies bad behaviors that you have. So bad behaviors like you know how to call people like that before you don't know how to visit. This is me confessing. It's not no hard feelings or that. It just got worse because
you don't even know where your phone
you don't even. That's the truth.
Too much going on.
You can be upstairs and your phone is downstairs, and it's not that you're being deliberate and I'm just keeping myself. There's just not the time in the day. So we still love you. We will probably get better in calling and visiting, but there's no hard feeling. We love you like that. So that's one thing I would want to say. And then relationship in between the children. For me, I see the one child we first have. By the time there's an introduction of the second and third, the mix, all vying for your attention is hard. Sometimes you can react to your child and you feel bad about it, and you go and cry and say, why did I tell me like that? It's human, it happens. But you have to be deliberate in making sure that the child does not feel replaced by the new child. So you are consciously saying, come and see your baby, come and carry your baby, come and involving them in the process.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Because that's where sibling rivalry starts.
Yes.
So it's important. Just continuing from where you stopped, one of the things I had to learn was, one of the things I was structuring or adding into the structure was to give each person one-on-one time. With my oldest child, because the other two are demanding, or they're actively demanding, and they cannot be reasoned with. so automatically they're getting more attention. So I now started being intentional about giving her exclusive time. Sometimes we know what we're going to do with that time. Sometimes I just leave it open for whatever she wants to do. Sometimes we're just catching up, or maybe we have an inside joke that we want to continue or something. So I think that helped. She will still say sometimes, these people are getting more attention than me, but I always remind her, like, because they're at that stage. When you were at that stage,
all the attention was on you.
Yeah,
nobody was sharing it.
At least they are even sharing it with others. So you had it to yourself exclusively for 7 years, and so we remind that we're not trying to be unfair. So I'm not saying because we're giving you that much attention, we're giving you nothing else, but that things are changing, and this is how it changes. So like we said, involve, and I recognize her support when she does involve herself with helping to care for them, or just keeping them, engaging them, keeping them busy. I recognize, like, I like that you're doing that with us, for us as a family. I acknowledge that contribution. I also would like to echo very briefly that thing about you and your spouse just running as parents, and for a while you're running as parents. Once in a while you are friends, but before you get back to husband and wife, you need day. I'm remembering one particular day we had booked a restaurant, planned for days. In fact, that afternoon I had called someone, and coincidentally she said she and her husband were going to that same restaurant that evening. We're like, we're just getting in, we're just going to change, we'll meet you there, let's make it a double date. And then when it was time to dress up, my husband just looked at each other.
Is this a wise, good use of our time?
Perhaps we are too tired to make this trip. We did not go. They were not like, how far are you coming? So what happened is that we are tired.
Legit.
Yeah. So that happens. Yeah. So that happens. Then just showing up for someone like me who has like a lot of social energy, to show up, to be there, like to be there. Sometimes. There's
didn't
So those are changes.
Thank you so much for staying to this point. We really appreciate you, and just to encourage you that postpartum healing takes time. It takes time. Speak up for yourself when you need help. Ask for help. It is not a sin to ask for help. It is not a sign of strength.
To be suffering.
To be suffering, yes. So the strength is when you're able to identify that you need help and you ask for that help. And our prayer is that your healing is fast.
Amen.
Recovery is fast.
Amen.
And you're able to get back to yourself, your body, and every function and relationship that you have. And also be intentional with your spouse. Don't let the relationship die because of the children.
The little children.
Yes, because the children will go someday and you will still be left with your spouse.
Those little children are waking up at ungodly time. Be intentional about it.
Yes. So thank you so much. We have come to the end of another episode, and looking forward to seeing you in our next video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment. Yes. Have a nice day. Bye bye. Thank you.
Who's gonna stop